All right, you guys voted on the channel that you wanted more melody tutorials. So this video is all about the number 7. And everything is so simple when you understand the number 7 in music. So let's open up a little simple piano. Let's open up Flex, for example. And we're going to go to some of the best stock pianos in FL Studio. I'm not saying it's the greatest thing in the world, but it's a good stock piano. Go to the Store tab, scroll down until you see the Essentials, and then go to your library. And we're going to load up the essential pianos, either the Yamaha C7 or the Steinway D. I like to use these a lot. Now, what we're going to do is use the number 7. So even without me using my MIDI controller, which is turned off, okay, in terms of the MIDI, we're going to go into the piano roll here and start using the number 7. So first, I'm going to pick a root note. It literally could be any root note. If you want to be like vibey, you can go with a black note. If you want to be more easy, go with a white note. It doesn't really matter. What we're going to do though is count up 7 notes from wherever we start. So here's our root note. Count up 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is called the perfect fifth. Okay. Now we're going to count up 7 notes from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is called the ninth. Okay. It's the fifth of the fifth is the ninth. And what we're going to do is take this middle note, the perfect fifth, and pull it down an octave. So we're going to duplicate it and pull it down an octave. What are we going to do here? We're going to take this C, duplicate it, pull it down an octave. So now we're going to also take this root note, copy it, pull it up an octave, control up. So now we have this spread of notes that we can use. Not that we have to use these in any specific sequence. It's just a structure for us to use certain notes. So let's start here at the black note. And let's just do note by note as if we're just doing dun, 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 something like that. Let me move this over. Let's pull this down. I think it's just too far up. And I'm trying not to introduce too many variables here, so we're going to keep it here for now, and I'll show you guys how to finesse this system. So let's copy this over. So we're going to copy this 3 times over, and then I'll show you guys the way you kind of freestyle your way into this next step. It sounds basic right now, but we're going to use the system here. So here's the system. We're going to take the root note. We're going to go up to the perfect fifth. We're going to add a note above and below these points. So these are what I call pivot points, okay? So for example, where it gets stale with the melody, let's use a flat tonic, for example. Where it gets stale over here, let's use a flat fifth. Where it gets stale over here, let's use a sharp tonic. This might be too much half stepping, so let's go back. Now people think this is simple, but what we're going to do now is take this root note, add it down below. Okay, and then we're going to change the bass note, and we could use the same set of notes. I was going to copy this down, control down. It's a little tedious to keep copying this down, so I'm trying to not overlap the notes. And we're just going to use, excuse me, these notes as bass notes. And again, we can use this pivot note. My ear wants to hear this, which is a sharp tonic. So I need to add that. There we go. So that you guys have that reference. Now here, my ear wants to hear something different. So dun. So my ear wants to hear something different here. Now this note is not necessarily in our little equation, but everything's not a formula. Okay, so this is where we kind of step away from the vibe and then come back in. And now we can hit shift down to transpose this key. So I want to go. I kind of want this octave. Let's see how low we can go. That's a little too low. I feel like this is the perfect octave for the sound. And that's if you want a dun 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 type melody. Okay, I did it very basic just so people could follow along. But that's the power of the number 7. We didn't think about scales, chords. It's just counting to the number 7. And then using this little technique where we add the sharp and flat of the tonic in the fifth. All right, now let's move into a little more advanced number 7-isms. Okay. So let's go to our piano roll. Here's what Rage does. For example, if you open up Poison, and let's go to preset default. Let's open up the piano roll, right click, go to piano roll. We're going to start at any root note. Usually it's E or F, especially for Rage. So let's start here at let's actually do F sharp. We're going to take this note and count up 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to take this note, this is called the perfect fifth, and we're going to pull it down. And it creates that guitar type sound. And all we have to do is transpose this. Okay, so hit shift to duplicate. And then now if we count from here to here, how many notes away is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is where we introduce the fact that 7 and 5, which is the perfect fourth. So the perfect fifth, put it this way, counting up 7 is also counting down 5. Okay, so for example, if I start here at F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gives me C sharp at F sharp. F sharp to C sharp is 7 notes, and counting down to the same exact note C is down 5 notes. So these are one and the same. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, 7 up. All right, just like the game we used to play in school. So what we can do is transpose this. I can hit shift up twice to create what's called quartal harmony. So now it's down 7 and then up 5. Same thing, just kind of flip-flop. Let's give this some tones, give it some unison. That oscillator B. Add a little filter in here. Now we're just being fancy. We can add an arpeggiator in here. Let's add a little, I forgot this doesn't have envelopes, so never mind. My little idea was to pan it left and right. Okay, that's using the number 7 just in a different way. Now we're going to move into the advanced way of using 7, and this requires an understanding of the in-between notes. So we didn't cover intervals as much or at all, really. So I'm going to show you guys another free plugin. This is not an FL plugin. I'm just showing you guys a dope plugin that Sosa put me onto, 1S Sosa X on YouTube. And this one, let me see which one. I always mix these up. Let's open this up, and we're going to play. Let me turn my keyboard back on for a second. So it has like these vintage type presets in here. It's kind of like Labs. I don't know who made this plugin. Can't think of the company. But it has these like smeary kind of retro. You know, we can make that Travis Scott smeary type of stuff with this. All right, so this is a free plugin. Oops. All right, now the number 7. Let me record this in because I just want to see some. All right, now let's see if we can fit in. Now, I did not pre-test this, so this is an experiment. What we're gonna do though is show you guys how to create extended chords and where chords even come from. So the root note here, if you count up 7 notes, it always gives you what's called the perfect fifth. So chords, you're usually taught chords are 3 notes or more. If you look up the old definition of chords, it says 2 notes or more. So when you understand that, you're like, oh, I don't need to have 3 notes in a chord all the time. So the distance between notes creates different things. Like, for example, C to G is a perfect 5th. C to F sharp is a perfect 4th. C sharp to E is a minor 3rd. 1, 2, 3, 3 notes away. So there's different distances between notes. And if we play them together, they create different stuff. So what we're doing is taking the tonic, raising this up 7 notes to give us a perfect 5th. I think the tonic and the perfect 5th are basically one and the same. I call these tonal twins. They like to move in the same direction, okay? So the in-between stuff is the interesting stuff. Okay, so we're going to take this note here and we're going to count up 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's say I wanted to jazzify this chord. Okay, I can use this as the melodic tone, so to speak. And actually, I'll do this across the chord so that I don't have to keep doing this. We're going to hit Control Shift and select the middle notes, duplicate them, and then pull them up 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now we're playing basically the 3rd to the 7th is 7 notes away. The same way the tonic is 7 notes away from the perfect 5th. So these are equidistant. If I pull these down, they're going to overlap. See? Okay, so what separates chords is really just moving this pair up and down. So that's how we can create change ups. This is more of a Drake sound now because now we're in 7th chords extensions. So here's what I'll do. Let's copy this over and then have one part where it's more simple with the chords. So we're going to take out all the top notes and then it's going to lead into that 7th. See how it opened up? All right, so that's more of like how you combine Travis Scott and Drake. A little more advanced because you have to understand minor chords and major chords, but it still comes down to the number 7 at the end of the day. And because we raised that top note over here, it's perceived as a top line. Even though it's part of the chord, it sounds very melodic. And that's because the 3rd and the 7th identify the chord. So if I play a chord like this, and if I play a chord like this, it's a different chord type. So the way I play the middle note in between the tonic and the 5th determines the chord type. This is a minor, that's a major. So nothing changed between the tonic and the 5th. So that's why the 3rd and the 7th are important for the chord identity. So when we raise those tones, it's showing us the identity of the chord. And the way I think about the tonic and the perfect 5th being 7 notes away, and the minor 3rd in this case, and the minor 7th, or the major 3rd, major 7th, whatever chord type it is, they're both 7 notes away. So they're tonal twins. They like to move in the same direction. In jazz theory, you can actually remove one or the other in a 7th chord. So for example, I could play, what is this, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is F sharp minor. I can remove the 3rd technically, and it's still considered a minor chord. I can remove the 7th, and it's still considered a minor chord. That's because it's equidistant from here to here. Okay, is the same from there to there. So here, the root note, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then up here, this is the root note, 1, 2, 3. So the equidistant. So no matter which one I play, it's still gonna have that minor 3rd in there. So that's where chord identity comes from. So that's why I said I wanted to start this off with something very beginner. You know, let's count to 7. And then the second half was about power chords and using that for rage melodies. And then the third half was all about like, how do you basically spawn your own chord progression and sound like Travis Scott and Drake. So these are the 3 levels you guys can mess with using the number 7. If you want to learn more, go to busyworksbeats.com/premium. You guys can sign up for a free trial. Peace out, guys.